story. This Australian guy, I think it was Rudd or something, wasn't it? I'm not too familiar with Australian politics.
Rudd was, Gillard is now. So Rudd was, Gillard, the female, took his spot as top dog in the Labour Party in Australia.
Yeah, well, this guy apparently was a little bit of a hero here in the UK because he actually said what everybody here in the UK thought. Mm-hmm. And that's basically, you come into our country, you abide by our rules, or, GTFO if you like. Mm-hmm. And I think that this was part of an email that was passed around England, and everyone was saying, yeah, well done, let's get on with it, ditto, do you know what I mean? And just sort of like pass it through. Yeah. You see, the thing is, in the UK, we have such a big benefit structure at the moment that people are travelling across sort of like half a dozen countries to get here in order to claim political asylum. And that's the problem we have with immigration, is that they're all piled up in France. They won't claim asylum in France. They camp out in France and then get their way through the Channel Tunnel to claim asylum here in the UK because of our benefit structure. And that really is what's bleeding the country dry. I mean, that really is part of the Labour government thing. I know it sounds a little bit sort of far-fetched, but it seems as though the Labour government was encouraging that sort of thing.
With the new government in power, is there any perceptible change, or is it too early to tell?
It's a little bit too early to tell. However, I mean, you accused me once of being a little bit more left of centre than perhaps you are. I'm not so sure I am. Okay, if the truth be known, but I think this coalition government that we have at the moment in the UK is pretty good. It seems to be moving in the right direction. But that's only because the far right are gaining a lot of support. When I say the far right, Jericho, I mean the far right. Okay. Similar to what's happening in the rest of Europe at the moment. I mean, it's a bit oddish, but it seems to be happening,
Okay, automatically must be a little more left, so I humbly apologize and sincerely.
Don't worry, don't jinx it, It's okay, no problem.
I think of Webb's performance as a referee in the World Cup. Did you watch?
Yes, I did. Yeah, I did watch. He was a little hard, but it was quite a rough game.
It was. As much as I was cheering for Holland, I thought there could have been several red cards, especially that karate kick. I'm surprised he did it for a while.
Well, I'm quite surprised at Holland for being that violent, I suppose, because they were sort of playing a little bit dirty. Usually you can expect this from some of the South American teams. But Holland I was a little bit disappointed with. They were playing a little bit dirty. But
that must have been their tactic, though. I think that was their tactic to try and throw Spain off from their ball control.
Yeah, well, it's a bit sort of...
I'm not saying I agree with it, but I'm trying to figure out why they went when they usually... Ralph, you're in Jerichoonly. Good morning.
Hi, Jericho. It's Ralph. I was the guy who spoke to you last week about Julia Gillard.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just good to speak to you again. Just before I start, what's that word? It's I've forgotten the word. It's that secret meditation place in a church. Starts with C.
I have no idea. I mean, it may come to me, but you sort of caught me blindside, and I'm like...
It's relevant to my question. Cloister.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just want to, just so you know, just before I get to my question, cloister, the word evolved from the word shelter, which of course means to take refuge. So just bear in mind that fact. Okay, I know it sounds a bit random, but yeah, it's relevant. Just a few predictions with the church and where it's heading with the government in my country again. I'm not a sider, I can't see the future, but I was talking to my cousin, and he's a geologist. I call him a geo dude because he's a bit nerdy. Anyway, and he's not religious, and he tries to bog me down with similar arguments you were getting last week. He goes, if the Bible is true, explain the Tyrannosaurus or the Charizard or the Bulbasaur. Do you know what I mean? I just want to get these points across just before you get bombarded with the atheist intellectuals. Basically, what my point is, what I want to say is, the Bible was written many years ago, so it's bound to be found, filled with mistakes. I know you probably don't agree with me with that, but I think it's bound to be filled with mistakes because it's written by man. But on the same token, it's influenced by God, so it's bound to be incredibly pure, and there's bound to be some honest teachings in there. So my original point, I'm not a Psyduck. I'm actually a bit of a slowpoke, but I was going to do some research, and it seems to me that religion and government are almost kindred spirits, but with what I perceive to be the slowing or the platypusing of faith, what I predict is the responsibility in government may also begin to wane, and all those money-grubbing mudkips are going to start ruining the system. What do you think?
Israel is going to divorce itself from Christianity and look for some other sort of cosmic coming together religiously. That's what I think is